The morning sun rose slowly over the gray village, but today it felt different to Lyra. In her heart, the world was no longer gray. Every leaf, every blade of grass, every shadow carried a memory of the colors she had seen. The crystal band the humans had given her rested lightly over her eyes, letting her carry the vibrant world wherever she went. She ran to her mother's side, eager to share what she had learned, what she had felt. Mira stood outside their small home, tending a pot of water for the day's chores. Her face was calm, but her eyes betrayed worry. "Mother," Lyra said, breathless with excitement, "you must come with me. I want you to see it, please, please." Mira shook her head gently. "Child, I cannot. You know I cannot see as you do. The world has always been gray. I fear disappointment." Lyra grabbed her mother's hands. "No, this is not disappointment. You will feel it. You will see it, in a way your heart can understand. Please, Mother." Her mother hesitated, then finally nodded. "Very well, but gently. Do not frighten me." Lyra took her hand and led her to the clearing where the humans had their small camp. The vessel gleamed softly in the morning light. The humans were already awake, preparing tools and devices. Dr. Mason saw Lyra coming and nodded, understanding her plan. "Are ready?" he asked. "Yes," Lyra said. "But not me alone, my mother must see too." Hana stepped forward, holding a second crystal device similar to Lyra's. "She will see. Not same as you, but understand feeling." Mira's hands trembled as Hana gently placed the device over her eyes. The humming of the crystal was soft, almost musical. Mira blinked and gasped. The world transformed. Though her mother could not see colors as Lyra did, she felt warmth, subtle shifts of light and shadow. The sunlight brushed her skin differently. The air seemed richer, deeper. Even the rustling leaves sounded different, softer, gentler. Mira's lips parted. "Lyra, what is this?" Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Mother, can you feel it? Can you see how alive everything is?" "Not great. Alive." Her mother shook her head, trying to process it. I feel warmth. I feel something, yes, something different. Something wonderful." Lyra laughed, spinning in the light, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Yes, that's it. That's exactly it." Mira looked around, her tears flowing freely now. For decades she had lived in a world limited to gray. She had never imagined the possibility of something beyond it. And now she could feel it. Her daughter's joy had opened a door in her heart. "Oh, Lyra," Mira whispered, holding her daughter close. You've given me this. I cannot see as you see, but I feel your joy, and that is more than I ever thought I could have." The humans watched quietly, understanding without words. Dr. Mason approached Mira and bowed slightly. "Gift given. Your daughter. Brave. You. Feel it. Important." Mira looked up at him, tears still glistening in her eyes. "Thank you," she said simply, her voice filled with emotion. "Thank you for giving my child and me this feeling." Lyra held her mother's hand tightly. "Mother, soon. The village can feel this too. Everyone can experience the world differently. We just have to be patient." Her mother nodded, still trembling. "Patience, yes. But my heart is ready now." Over the next days, Lyra devoted herself to helping her mother understand the gift. They spent hours walking together, feeling the subtle warmth of sunlight on their skin, noticing how shadows shifted, and listening to the gentle hum of life in the trees and the river. "See the river, Mother?" Lyra asked one afternoon, kneeling at the edge. "It sparkles, doesn't it? Like it has its own heart." Mira reached out and touched the water. Though she could not see colors, the sensation was real. She felt the flow, the gentle pulse, the life within it. "Yes," she whispered. "I feel it. It's alive, oh Lyra. It's more than I ever imagined." Lyra smiled, her heart soaring. She realized that even though her mother could not see as she did, the experience was meaningful. True wonder did not depend solely on sight. It could be felt with the heart. The villagers began to notice changes in them. They watched Lyra laugh as she explored, and they saw her mother's tears and gentle smiles. Rumors spread quickly. "Have you noticed Mira?" one elder whispered to another. She smiles differently." And Lyra, "She glows." They say the strangers gave Lyra something," another said. "Some say it is magic. Some say it is a trick." Despite the gossip, curiosity began to bloom. Children approached the clearing, asking questions. A few brave adults lingered at the edges, eager to see what Lyra and her mother experienced. Lyra seized the moment. She guided them to the humans' camp, showing them simple sensations. The gentle warmth of the sun, the soft rustle of leaves, the life in the river. Even if they could not see color yet, they could feel the world in a way they had never known. Slowly, smiles began to appear. Hands reached out to touch the grass and water. Eyes widened as subtle differences in light and shadow became apparent. Lyra's heart swelled. One by one, the villagers were beginning to sense what she had discovered. One evening, after a long day of teaching and sharing, Lyra and her mother sat together outside their home. The sky above was still gray to most eyes, but to Lyra it was tinged with faint colors from her crystal device. Her mother held her hands gently. "My child," Mira whispered. "Today, I understood more than I ever could have imagined. You have shown me a new world. Even if I cannot see it fully, I can feel it. And my heart weeps with joy." Lyra leaned her head against her mother's shoulder. "I wanted to give you this. I wanted you to feel the happiness I feel." Mira hugged her tightly. "You have given me more than happiness. You have given me hope, and I am so proud of you." Tears fell from both of them, not of sadness, but of pure joy. For the first time, Lyra realized that the gift of color was not only about seeing, it was about sharing, about connecting hearts and minds, about opening a world that had always seemed closed. That night, as Lyra lay in bed, she thought about the days ahead. The village was still gray, but change had begun. A few brave villagers had begun to trust the humans, and her mother had learned that joy could exist beyond the limits of perception. Lyra smiled. One day the whole village would see. One day every heart would feel what she had felt. And when that time came, she would not only bring color to her world, but also hope, wonder, and love. For now she closed her eyes, listening to the soft rhythm of life around her. The river sang, the wind whispered, and the leaves rustled gently in the night. And in her heart, Lyra knew that this was only the beginning. The gray world had not disappeared, but it had been changed forever. And as she drifted into sleep, she felt certain that one day, all her people would see and feel the gift that humans had brought. The morning arrived quietly, but in Lyra's heart it was a day of great promise. The sun rose pale over the village, but she knew what it truly held. Today she would help her people feel the world in a new way. She had learned much from the humans, and with her crystal device she could now share the gift of color beyond herself. Her mother, Mira, stood beside her. Though she still could not see color fully, she had felt the joy and warmth it brought. Her tears of yesterday had become a gentle smile, a quiet strength that gave Lyra courage. "We are ready," Lyra said softly. Mira nodded. "Yes, the village. They are ready to feel, even if they cannot yet see as you do. Trust your heart, child." Together they walked toward the clearing where the human ship rested. The villagers had gathered, a mix of fear, curiosity, and hope written on their faces. Children peeked from behind their parents. Elders murmured quietly, and a few brave adults stepped forward. Dr. Mason and Hannah greeted Lyra with gentle smiles. "Today important," Dr. Mason said. "Not only you, all can feel gift." Lyra held her mother's hand and stepped forward. "Everyone, listen. The world. It is not only gray. It can be alive, it can be beautiful, it can give joy. The humans have shown me, and now I can help you feel it too." The villagers exchanged nervous glances. "But we cannot see as you do," one elder whispered. "Perhaps not," Lyra said, her voice firm but kind. "But you can feel it. You can sense the life in the trees, the river, the wind. You can feel joy in your heart even if your eyes do not yet see it." Slowly she moved through the crowd, guiding them to the riverbank. She showed them how to touch the water, how to feel the warmth of sunlight on their skin, how to listen to the wind through the trees. At first, the villagers were hesitant. Their hands trembled, their voices were quiet. But as they followed Lyra's lead, they began to notice subtle differences. The river felt cooler here, warmer there. The sunlight carried a soft glow, brushing the skin like a gentle hand. Even the leaves seemed to whisper with life. Mira stepped forward, showing the villagers that joy could exist even without seeing. "Feel," she said softly, her voice carrying a gentle strength. "It is real. Trust your heart. Let it guide you." Children were the first to respond. They laughed as they ran through the grass, feeling its softness touching the water, noticing how the wind played on their skin. Their joy was contagious, spreading slowly through the adults. Elders who had doubted now watched quietly. sensing the subtle changes. Some shook their heads, unsure if what they felt was real. But when a child laughed and pointed to a leaf that shimmered in the sun, even the elders felt a spark of wonder. Over the next hours, Lyra moved among the villagers, showing them how to feel the colors through the device. Though many could yet see, the night air was cool as Lyra walked toward the humans' camp. The glow from their ship lit the clearing like a pale moon. Her heart beat fast, filled with excitement and fear. Dr. Mason had called her, saying he had something special to show her. She reached the camp and saw him waiting beside a small device on a low table. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Smooth, silver with tiny lights blinking softly, it seemed almost alive. "Lyra," Dr. Mason said, his voice calm and kind. "This help you see world differently." Lyra's eyes widened. "Differently? How?" Dr. Mason held up a small screen that displayed moving images. They showed rolling hills, rivers, and skies, all in vibrant colors. Lyra gasped. "But the sky isn't like that here," she whispered. How can it be?" "This is how humans see," he explained. "We see color, light, not only gray." Lyra shook her head, trying to imagine it. Gray was all she had ever known. I don't understand," she said softly. Dr. Mason nodded. "Not easy, but we can translate." He pressed a button and a soft hum filled the air. The device glowed brighter. "This show you color in ways you can know." Lyra stared at the machine. She felt a strange thrill and a little fear. Could the world really be different from what she had always known? Could she, who had only seen gray, understand something humans called color? Dr. Mason reached out gently. "Are ready?" Lyra swallowed hard. "Yes," she whispered. He placed the device on her eyes like a mask. It was cool against her skin. A quiet vibration pulsed from it. The gray world she knew began to shift. At first, nothing happened. She blinked, expecting something dramatic. But the world seemed the same, gray, dull, ordinary. Then slowly, edges of light appeared. A shimmer along the leaves. A soft glow along the river. A faint warmth in the sunlight. Lyra gasped. She reached out her hand toward the trees. The leaves. They looked alive. Not gray, not dull, but different. They had shapes that felt new, edges that sang with life. What is this?" she whispered. Her voice shook with wonder. "This, color," Dr. Mason said softly. "Not like gray. You feel it." Not only see, her mind raced. The river, which had always looked silver, now rippled with tones she had never known. A subtle warmth along the water, like it had personality, like it had a secret it wanted to share. The rocks along the riverbank glimmered faintly with hints of something new, something magical. Lyra felt a rush of joy. She laughed, small at first, then louder. It's alive. Everything. It's alive." Dr. Mason smiled. "Yes, different. Life different. World can feel if you want." She walked along the edge of the river, each step bringing new wonders. A flower at the bank glowed in bright tones, unlike anything she had imagined. She bent closer, touching it lightly. It seemed to hum under her fingers. Her heart leapt. She wanted to run back to the village to tell everyone, but she also wanted to stay to explore this new world, to learn more about these colors that made the gray seem wrong, yet beautiful. For hours, Lyra wandered. Dr. Mason guided her gently, showing her how to feel differences in light. Blue, calm green, alive red, strong. Lyra repeated the words, feeling them inside her. She had never known such sensations. The sun above, which had always been pale, now held warmth she could almost taste. The wind carried whispers she could feel on her skin. Each sound, each movement, each shimmer of light carried meaning she had never known. This is amazing," she said, her voice trembling. I never imagined." Dr. Mason nodded. "Humans share gift. You..." "First one, try." She looked up at him. "Why me? Why me and not anyone else?" "Curious." "Brave," he said simply. "Want learn? Different. Can help. Others." Later, Lyra nodded. She felt proud but also aware of responsibility. If she could understand color, perhaps she could teach her people. Perhaps the gray world did not have to stay gray. As the night wore on, Lyra returned to the village, her mind still filled with the wonders she had seen. Her mother waited outside their small home, worry written across her face. "You returned," Mira said, standing stiffly. "You were gone so long." Lyra rushed to her. "Mother, you won't believe..." The world. It's not gray. It can be alive. Beautiful. Mira frowned. What are you saying? I saw it. Colors, light. Everything is amazing. You have to see it, Mother. You have to feel it. Her mother's face softened, but worry remained. Child, what did the humans do to you? Are you safe? I am safe, Lyra assured her. I am fine. More than fine. I feel alive. The humans, they gave me a gift. Mira's eyes widened. She did not understand. But when she saw the light in Lyra's eyes, the joy, the wonder, she felt something shift inside her heart. Perhaps there was more to the universe than she had known. That night, Lyra lay awake, thinking. She had seen what humans called color, and she had felt it inside herself. But she also knew her people were not ready for this. The elders would resist. The villagers might be afraid. She could not rush it, still she smiled. The world she had always known, the gray world, was no longer all there was. There was something beyond it, something greater, something she could learn and perhaps one day share. In the following days, she visited the humans often. She practiced with the device, learning to feel subtle shades of light and color. Each day was a new discovery. The gentle green of leaves, the deep blue of water, the fiery red of a fruit. Each sensation brought joy she had never known. One afternoon, she turned to Dr. Mason. I want to help my people see this, she said. He smiled gently. Yes, but careful. Must teach slowly. Not all ready. Same time, must patient. Lyra nodded, understanding. This was not just her gift, it was a responsibility. A chance to bring change, to show her people that the world could be more than gray. That evening, she returned home. Her mother waited, anxious yet hopeful. Lyra held her mother's hands and said softly, Mother, I want to show you something wonderful. Mira looked into her daughter's eyes, seeing the excitement, the joy, the discovery. She did not yet understand, but she trusted Lyra. And in that moment, a quiet hope began to bloom in her heart, the first glimmer of a new world that might come. Lyra lay in bed that night, her mind racing with possibilities. The gray world had not changed, but she had. And that was enough. Soon, she thought, she could help others see what she had seen. Soon, the gift of color could reach everyone. And for the first time in her life, Lyra dreamed not of gray skies, but of colors she had yet to imagine. The next morning, the village buzzed with unease. The humans were still camped near the clearing, and though they had not harmed anyone, many Dralians feared their strange machines and glowing tools. The elders whispered warnings while younger villagers dared each other to sneak close to the ship, but for Lyra there was no fear. Her heart burned with curiosity. She had already felt hints of color through the human's device, but Dr. Mason had promised something more, something stronger, something that would let her see the world in the way humans did. When the sun reached its highest point, she made her way to the camp. Dr. Mason and the woman named Hannah greeted her warmly. Hannah's smile was gentle, her eyes filled with kindness. Lyra, Dr. Mason said, his voice calm. Today, we try more. Not just feel color, you will see it. Lyra's breath caught. Truly, see it like you do? Yes, he said, device. Ready, safe, but strong. World will look very different. Her pulse quickened. She remembered the joy she had felt when she sensed shades of green and blue before. If that had been only a taste, what would it be like to see? I'm ready, she said firmly. Dr. Mason guided her to sit on a chair in their camp. Hannah held a small box that hummed softly, its lights pulsing like a heartbeat. From it, thin lenses extended, shaped to rest over her eyes. Close eyes, Hannah instructed gently. Breathe. Slow. Lyra obeyed, shutting out the familiar gray world. She felt the cool device settle against her face. Now, open, Dr. Mason whispered. Lyra opened her eyes. At first, she thought the world had exploded. The sky above was no longer pale. It blazed with an endless expanse of blue, a color so deep and wide it made her chest ache. She gasped, clutching the arms of the chair. The trees, which had always been dull gray, now shimmered with rich green. Each leaf glowed with life, like thousands of tiny flames dancing in the sunlight. The river sparkled in shades she had no words for. Blue like the sky, but softer, mixed with a silver brightness that dazzled her eyes. She stood quickly, unable to sit still. Her feet carried her to the edge of the clearing. She reached out, touching the grass, which now blazed with color she could not stop staring at. It's alive, she whispered. It's all alive. Her body trembled with joy and shock. She spun around, laughing, tears forming in her eyes. I can see. I can truly see. Dr. Mason smiled, watching her closely. Yes, this is color. Lyra ran to a flower Hannah had placed on the table. She had seen flowers all her life, gray and plain, yet useful for medicine or food. But this one, oh, this one glowed with brilliant red. It was like fire made solid. She lifted it gently, holding it near her face. It's beautiful, she said, her voice breaking. So bright, so strong. Hannah's eyes softened. Red, she said. The color is red. Red, Lyra repeated, savoring the word. She pressed the flower to her chest. It feels warm even though it's not. It feels alive. She turned toward the humans. How do you live like this? How do you not weep every day from so much beauty? Dr. Mason chuckled quietly. First time strongest. For us, normal now. For you, miracle. Lyra opened her eyes to another morning that looked exactly like the one before it. The sky above her was pale, neither bright nor dark, and the ground stretched in muted shades of gray. She stepped out of her family's small stone house and took a deep breath. The air was fresh, but even the air seemed to lack flavor, like it carried only half of what it was meant to give. Her people, the Dralians, had lived this way for as long as anyone remembered. They saw only shades of light and dark. To them, the world was not ugly. It was simply what it had always been. But sometimes, when she stared at the endless gray, Lyra felt something heavy pressing against her heart. She could not explain it, but she felt that something important was missing. Her mother, Mira, was already awake, preparing the morning meal. You're up early, her mother said gently, her voice warm even if her face looked tired. I couldn't sleep, Lyra admitted. She walked over to the table where a bowl of root stew waited. It was filling, but like everything else, it had no brightness to it. She sat quietly and stirred the stew with her spoon. Her mother noticed. What's troubling you, Lyra? Nothing, Lyra said at first. Then after a pause, she added, It's just, don't you ever wish things were different? Don't you ever wish the world had more in it? Mira stopped what she was doing. She looked at her daughter for a long moment. Different? She asked softly. What do you mean? Lyra shook her head. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like there should be more than light and dark. Like the world hides secrets we cannot see. Her mother smiled, but it was a sad smile. You always dream bigger than the rest of us. But my child, this is the world we have. And even if it looks plain, it still gives us life. Be grateful for that. Lyra wanted to be grateful, and she truly loved her home and her people. But deep inside, she still felt restless. She wanted to discover something beyond the gray. Later that day, Lyra walked through the village. Stone houses stood in neat rows. The river ran quietly at the edge, its water shimmering in faint silver. Children played near the banks, laughing as they skipped stones. Their laughter was full of life, but to Lyra, even laughter seemed to carry the same dullness as the world around them. Old villagers sat outside, repairing nets or carving simple tools. Everyone looked content, yet no one seemed curious. Lyra often felt out of place among them. She wandered further, past the farms where workers pulled gray crops from the soil. The plants grew tall and strong, but they looked lifeless. The people harvested without excitement because there was little beauty in their work, only duty. Sometimes Lyra thought she was the only one who felt the emptiness of it all. But deep inside, she believed that her people were missing something important. They just did not know what it was. That night, when the sky darkened and stars appeared, Lyra lay outside on a blanket. She loved watching the stars. They were the only things that made her feel hope. Unlike the land around her, the stars shone with sharpness, tiny fires scattered across the sky. Of course, to her eyes, they were still gray, but there was something special about them. They looked alive. She imagined that each star was a distant world full of mysteries. Her mother joined her quietly, lying beside her. You love the stars, Mira said. They feel different, Lyra replied. Like they're calling us. Her mother gave a small laugh. Perhaps they are. But the stars are far away. We belong here. Lyra hesitated. Do you ever wonder if other people live up there? People who see the world in ways we cannot imagine? Mira turned to her daughter. For a moment, her face softened with thought. Then she said, When I was your age, I used to wonder the same. But as I grew, I learned to focus on what I can touch, not what I can't. Lyra frowned. I don't want to stop wondering. Her mother reached over and held her hand. Then don't. Your dreams make you different, Lyra. Maybe one day they'll lead you to something greater. I can only hope it brings you joy, not sorrow. The words stayed with Lyra long after her mother had gone to sleep. She gazed at the stars until her eyes grew heavy. In her heart, she whispered a silent wish. Show me something more. Show me what I cannot see. The following days passed much the same, but the feeling inside Lyra grew stronger. She began to walk further from the village, exploring hills and valleys she had never seen before. She hoped that by going farther, she might find something new. One morning, as she reached the top of a high ridge, she looked out over the wide land. Endless fields stretched out below her, gray on gray, yet she felt her heart racing. Perhaps it was not the land itself that would change, but something beyond it. Then, far in the distance, she noticed something unusual. A faint light glimmered against the sky, not like a star, but larger, closer, and moving. She narrowed her eyes. The object drifted slowly, shining brighter than anything she had seen on her world. It descended through the sky with strange grace. Her heart pounded. It was not a falling rock nor a storm. It was something different. Lyra ran back to the village, shouting for the others to come see. People gathered, pointing at the glowing shape as it descended beyond the horizon. What is it? Someone asked. Maybe the gods. Another whispered. Lyra's eyes shone with excitement. Deep inside, she knew this was the answer to her wish. Something from the stars had come. Something beyond gray, and though she did not yet know what it was, she felt that her life and the life of her entire people was about to change forever. The day after the strange light appeared in the sky, the village was filled with restless whispers. Everyone had seen it, but no one knew what it was. The elders argued among themselves, calling it a sign, while the younger ones guessed at storms or falling stones. But Lyra's heart told her it was something more. She felt it deep inside, the same way she had felt the stars calling her. She knew the glowing object was not just a random event, it was a visitor. By the third day, the proof came. Lyra was walking near the river when she heard a strange sound, like a hum, low and steady. The water rippled as if stirred by invisible hands. Looking up, she gasped. A large shape drifted over the trees. It was not made of stone or wood, and it did not flap wings like a bird. It was smooth, shining with faint silver light, and it moved with purpose. The object lowered itself slowly, landing in a clearing beyond the river. Lyra froze in place, her heart racing. For a moment, fear touched her. But stronger than fear was her curiosity. She wanted to see. She ran back to the village, breathless. It landed, she cried. The light. It came down by the river clearing. Her mother grabbed her arm. What are you talking about, Lyra? The light from the sky, it wasn't a storm. It was something real. Come and see. Her words spread quickly. Soon, dozens of villagers followed her toward the clearing. They moved carefully, unsure what they would find. When they reached the edge of the trees, they saw it. The object stood tall on metal legs, wider than any house in the village. Its surface gleamed in the gray daylight, smooth and curved, unlike anything the Dralians had ever built. A door hissed open, and a ramp extended to the ground. Everyone gasped. Figures stepped out. They walked on two legs, like the Dralians, but their appearance was different. Their skin came in strange shades, some pale, some dark, some in between. Their eyes were sharp, their hair varied, and their clothing was unlike any fabric the villagers had ever woven. It fit close to their bodies with strange designs and small lights that blinked softly. The villagers shrank back in fear. But Lyra could not move. Her breath caught in her throat as she stared. She had dreamed of life among the stars, and now before her very eyes her dream had taken form. One of the strangers raised a hand, palm open, in a peaceful gesture. His voice carried across the clearing. Greetings, he said in a language none of the villagers knew. The sounds were strange, flowing and full. The villagers exchanged nervous looks. They could not understand. Then the stranger touched a small device on his chest. His voice came again, this time in broken but clear words of the Dralian's tongue. Peace. We are humans. We come from Far Star. A ripple of shock went through the crowd. Humans. A word none of them had heard before. Lyra stepped forward without thinking. Her mother gasped and tried to hold her back, but Lyra slipped free. She could not let fear win. "Why are you here?" Lyra asked, her voice trembling but strong enough to carry. The human with the device smiled gently. His eyes softened. "We explore. We seek friends," the villagers whispered in disbelief. Some were still afraid while others were curious. But none were as bold as Lyra, who now stood just a few steps away from the humans. Another human, a woman with kind eyes, crouched slightly to meet Lyra's gaze. "What is your name?" she asked slowly. "Lyra," she answered. The woman repeated it carefully as if tasting the sound. "Lyra, a good name." The human smiled again, and in that moment Lyra felt a strange warmth. These beings were not here to harm them. They were here to share. Over the next few days, the humans stayed near the clearing, building a small camp beside their shining vessel. At first, only a few villagers dared to approach. Most kept their distance, watching from the safety of the trees, but Lyra visited every day. She asked questions, even though the humans' language was still hard for her to understand. Slowly, with the help of their strange devices, they learned more words of her tongue, and she picked up some of theirs. She learned that the leader of the group was Dr. Mass Man with thoughtful eye.